How you doing, everyone? And welcome to this episode of the Isaac Hayes Show, talking about life, talking about liberty, and yes, talking about the pursuit of happiness, and showing everyone in the world that Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope everyone is having a great Wednesday. The day is December 11th. If you're watching after the premiere of this episode, which is on Rumble and YouTube, and I'm hoping we're back on Facebook. Rumble has been having issues. Facebook has been having issues. So we have not been able to go live on Facebook for a minute. I've been sharing the Rumble link or the YouTube link. It's just a lot of issues with Rumble Studios. But guess what? They're going to get their act together. I believe in Rumble. And I believe in all Facebook and YouTube usually isn't a problem, but Rumble has been a problem. And but guess what? It's all right. It's all right. We're not gonna worry about it. It's that time of year where we need to relax and have joy in our heart and make sure that we are we're happy. 'Cause again, it's the time of the season. And I want to tell everybody as well, hope everyone's having a happy holidays, having some happy holidays. I am recuperating from a day off yesterday. The only thing about yesterday, I wish I wouldn't have had, it would have been a show day. Because I would have came into the studio and I would have done a live show. And I even said it on Two Mics Live on their chat, not last night because they didn't have a show last night, but on the Mike Schwartz show. I said, look, I wish I should do a special show. I'm off. I could go ahead and hang out with the likes of Wendy Wild, definitely not Karen, Coco, and all y'all great and wonderful people. I could have just came hang out, but I stayed home. I relaxed. I read my Bible. I studied on a few topics in the Word of God, and I got to cook my wife and my lovely children lunch because my children are homeschooled. So got to do that. Got to eat supper with them. I played a lot of college football 25 and played the new Indiana Jones game a little bit. Just sat down, relaxed. And I could probably a lot of people like, Isaac, you're older. You still play video games? Oh yeah. Not as much as I used to. I used to be a great gamer back in the day, but now I just chill and relax and have a little bit of fun. But, again, this is the day that the Lord has made. We should rejoice and be glad in it. So today I'm going into work, and I am excited. Like I said, got to just stay home yesterday. Chill, relax, and just enjoy the family. If you can, please hit the like and subscribe button, depending on the platform you are listening on. We are on YouTube and Rumble and sometimes Facebook, depending if the platform works. We are on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Excuse me. You can find us all on there. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button. Again, depending on the platform you are listening on. Also, if you have that option, go ahead and give us a 5-star review and tell your friends. I think that's the most important. A lot of people don't understand. You have to tell your friends. You also have to hit that like button. Depending on, Rumble got it, Facebook got it, Spotify got it. They all got it. Hit the like button. That helps me out more than you know. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some of the major stories of the last couple of days. And the biggest one would be that Daniel Penny, the man that was charged for negligent homicide and other crimes that have been dropped, got the verdict in. They got the verdict in on Monday, and if I'm not mistaken, only a few hours that this charge was discussed, and he was acquitted. He was found not guilty, and he after he was a part of this trial. He was the main person. Unfortunately, Jordan Neely lost his life in this altercation on a subway, but Daniel Penny was acquitted of all criminal negligence, homicide, after intervening to stop a potential dangerous situation on the subway. I talked about this the other day. I gave y'all some context of what was going on. I think it was Monday's show that I brought this out. I said he needed to be acquitted. I said if he wasn't acquitted, Donald Trump needed to think about pardoning him. I still felt that way going after Monday, after the verdict. You know, this broke during my show when it was premiering. I wish I was live because I would have broke the story live. But yeah, the jury did right. The jury's not guilty decision was correct. They saw what this was. This was a politically motivated charge. Daniel Penny was brought in for questioning, was let go, then later called back in and said, hey, you're getting arrested because you went ahead and took this person out and you did wrong. And it was all politically motivated. And you're hearing this. You hear this on the left when you talk about this. I would be here and I would go ahead and tell people that that person should be let go and be acquitted. Because Neely was a present threat. Daniel Penny also had an interview with Fox News after, and he made the call. He said, look, I couldn't have lived with myself if I would have allowed that to happen. If he would have hurt somebody, I could not live with myself. Daniel Penny did right. And I think the jury saw that. All this was politically motivated. And Alvin Bragg, you might not know this, but he has a reputation for doing this type of stuff. Because you see, in Alvin Bragg's mind, it's not about justice. It's about, well, in some way, it might be about justice. I'm just thinking about it. He thinks that he has to make the wrongs of the past. Or he has to go after political figures that he feels that shows him that they did wrong. Alvin Bragg is a prosecutor that goes after does cases based on political motivation. When you allow criminals to run rampant on your streets, just letting them go, then Neely is a prime example of that. Neely was a homeless man, had many altercations with the cops, should have been in jail, but guess what? Did not go to jail because Alvin Bragg and his DA system or his DA's office would let him go. But going after people for protecting another person. Now, Daniel Penny was also in the military. And look, this going after people because of political motivated decision is not right. So, and look, this is what's good about our system. Our system of being judged by a jury of your peers worked this time. And look, if you think about it, yeah, it worked on a lot. It works in a lot of issues. It works in a lot of circumstances. Now I can hear my critics, people saying, "Well, you didn't say that about Donald Trump." No, juries make wrong decisions sometimes. In this case, they did right. They went ahead and they did the right decision here. Because again, you know, Donald Trump was judged by a jury of his peers. But also you got to look where it's at and what type of case it is as well. Again, juries don't make... Look, there's several stories of juries not making the right decisions. You know how many times they had to acquit somebody after the fact? Juries don't always get it right. This time, they got it right. The jury made this decision that he was not guilty. And look, I believe they weighed out all the facts. Come on, you don't go from 4 days on the first count where you're a hung jury, then the next week the very first day of deliberation, I think 2 hours, hey, we already got a verdict. I don't know what was the whole situation behind that, but I'm just saying. Now let's talk about the aftermath of the of this whole situation going on with Daniel Penny. And look, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was more calm than I thought. They did have protests outside the courtroom after this verdict dropped. Now it's funny how these protesters were all ready to go. I'm just saying, there are professional protesters out there that incite violence or incite riots. I don't know if these people were waiting outside for a verdict. I don't know, but they had protests. I don't think they were waiting at work and heard the news and jumped and grabbed their sign. They had to be out there waiting. But there was some criticism from Neely's family. Their call for protests and ignores the fact that it was the jury's decision. And this is an interesting point too. I want to make this point right here. The lawyer of Neely's family and the family itself were saying, you know what? You know how you overturn, you know how you look over this verdict and how you go help people that are in need. You go help people that are on the side of the road. You go help the people that need help and give them a meal and give them some money. And now going back to that, Neely was homeless. All his family, all of a sudden, are worried about him. Why didn't they help Neely when he was alive and homeless? Okay, I thought about this. I'm not trying to criticize his family, because I understand all the circumstances are different. Maybe they told Neely, look, you're having so many problems, we can't handle that in the home. I understand all that. But I'm just saying, these people are did this press conference right after the verdict, and kept saying that, well, y'all need to go help people that are homeless. They really need help. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why didn't y'all help your own kin? Okay, if you see somebody on the street and you care about them, you try your best to help them out as much as possible. You don't go ahead and say, oh, I hope you do better and walk off. Especially a family member. Now, look, we have an example of this in my family. We have an individual that, unfortunately, we have tried to give help, and that individual don't want no help. And they decide to live on the street. What we gonna do? We tried. And like I said, this might have been the case right here, but I just, every circumstance is different, and that's why I'm not gonna hold up. I'm just saying. You want to help this man out now that is in the public eye, but why didn't you help him or try to help him when he was alive? The DA let him back on the streets. See, the DA is all of a sudden worried about Jordan Neely, but what about when he was alive? The DA would have did their job and put him in jail. He maybe could have got the help he needed. It's just saying, there's a lot of hypocrisy all over the place. Also, BLM reacted. The calls for black vigilantes. They said, look, you need to go out there and you need to make your voices heard. And even at one point, if they try to stop you, put your arm around their neck. That come from the BLM organizer of New York. They were trying to incite violence. Look, and good thing we have not got reports of violence in the state of New York. Now, I think one reason for that is because they really can't protest. Like I said, this man went on a subway threatening to hurt people. He said, I'm going to jail anyway, according to Penny. Penny couldn't stand aside. And look, he knew what to do. He was a soldier. He was a true public servant of protecting our rights. And this just shows one point too, and I will end with this. Well, not with this. One more thought after this. I have everything written down. One side I want to bring this out too, though. You see how both sides of the political spectrum work. One side, if this verdict would have went wrong, or would have went the way that we didn't agree with, we would have said, listen, It was a wrong decision. Let's hope President Donald Trump pardons him, or let's hope that they appeal, or let's do something of that nature, you know? We wouldn't have called for violence. We would have called for the reform of probably the justice system or whatever, you know, but we wouldn't have called for violence, while the other side, hey, hit the streets. Make your voices heard by violence. Now, in my opinion, which one you want to be part of? A party of violence, or a party that you know, hey, we disagree, but we're going to move on? Violence isn't the answer. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. But at the end of the day, I see the jury was trying to protect, you know, I think the jury did right at the end of the day. Penny was trying to protect others, and again, the jury rightly saw that. Now look, hey, we need to move beyond this. It's done. This case is done. And look, I'm happy for the outcome. I believe they did the right thing. This wasn't, and see, that's a whole nother thing too. Neely's family and his lawyers and BLM are saying, hey, look, this is a result of a broken system. No, it's not. Again, is this system perfect? No. But at the same time, you can't say that the system is working for you one minute and not working for you the next. Sometimes in the legal system, you're not going to get the verdict you want. But that's why you have to be unanimous. Hey, look, it's overwhelming evidence that this man did this on purpose. I don't believe this was a black or white issue. I think the jury saw what it was. The DA is pushing this for motivational issues. We're going to push that aside. Let's listen to all the facts. And the facts were that Neely didn't do nothing wrong. And I'm glad he's acquitted. But you can't say, hey, it works one minute and not work for the next. I see that a lot. When a case goes the left way, it's, oh my goodness, the system is so wonderful and the system overcame challenges, but and then all of a sudden, I can't believe. I'm like I said, I think the jury did right on this time. I did it right. They did right. They did good. And look, let's hope that maybe Alvin Bragg will see, hey, it don't work when you're trying to be political. All right, let's move on. Another story from New York, not trying to stay in New York, but Luigi Mangoni is arrested for allegedly murdering the CEO of United Healthcare. Law enforcement and media played key roles in solving the crime. So, as you know, the CEO of United Healthcare was assassinated in the streets of New York by an individual. And this individual been on the run for several days. I forgot when this story first initially broke, but because of a McDonald's worker. Now, somebody said the other day, well, what a year for McDonald's. But this individual, I was talking about this with a coworker the other day. You know, he planned this thing out, and it's like his strategy, the exit wasn't the top notch either. Now, I heard someone say the other day that they don't think this is the guy. They think this is the fall guy. There was someone else that did it. I don't know. But the way that it sounds like, they found a lot of evidence. They found the backpack. They found the silencer. I think they even found the firearm that this man did. They even found a manifesto. And he criticized the healthcare industry. He talked about his back and all this stuff. But he went ahead and took out this, unfortunately, he took out this CEO of United Healthcare, who I've heard that they laid to rest already. This man had a family. This man had I don't know if he had children, but he sure had a wife. This man had a family. Now, people will say, well, what about his crime? Look, he's the CEO of a healthcare organization. I don't think he makes decisions on who gets the healthcare and who doesn't get the healthcare. I honestly believe that. He's running a company. Now, look, people in healthcare and big corporations, are they always fair? No, they're not. But at the same time, this man taking out another human life, this Luigi guy, was wrong. I'm just going to make that point right there. And I'm glad this man is caught. This man is hopefully has his day in court, and if found guilty, he pays for his crimes. But to do this is just you know, for him to even think about it. Look, some of you, even his family members and some of his friends are saying we don't know what got into him. Now, with that being said, there is some troubling things about this, and we touched on this story again at Monday. We didn't know, like, this is a lot of updates because a lot of things happened these last couple of days. But it's just troubling that some are celebrating this murder. There's some that are saying that this man did wrong. He was part of big corporations and all that. Look, at the end of the day, I don't care who you are. Nothing justifies taking another life. Okay, I understand wars and I understand things like that. And you know, there's a lot of people trying to compare all this stuff to other people that did wrong in the day with war. Look, this was not a war. This was not us trying to take out a dictator that murders on a vast scale. This was another human being that, again, did not know the individual. Somebody probably denied him health care and he took it out on this individual. That was not right. And people that are trying to justify this is wrong. There is ways to handle this without the pulling of a trigger. This man's actions were wrong. Plain and simple. And again, I talked about this maybe last week, where I feel this is an issue of spiritual point. We have really come to our nation that people are turning on each other. Have we came to a point in our society where people are, instead of trying to work out their problems, they're just going to go ahead and take someone out? I'm gonna be honest with you. If that's the case, if that's how our world is right now, soon and very soon, I'm going to see the King. The Lord Jesus Christ is coming back soon. And he said it will be like the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. We're pretty close. You know, it just the days of Noah. There's no other way to explain this. And the lengths this man took to do this. This was personal, and this was there's no way that people can justify this. Also yelling in the court at his bail hearing. There's a lot of stuff that this man did in the last couple of days that show me that, hey, he might be the one. Now, again, I want to talk about something that I rarely do with this story, and it just amazes me. The media did a really good job. You know, if it wasn't for the media plastering this man's picture all over the place, the national news, the local news, I don't know if this man would have been found. The reason I give credit to the media is because they plastered it all over the place. This man, like I said, the cojones on this dude, this man went into a McDonald's to order a meal. Didn't take it to go, was not in no rush, sat down and ate the meal at McDonald's. A McDonald's worker recognized him and called 911. That was because of what this individual saw on television. Again, someone said McDonald's had a real good year. They had the president of the United States and they helped solve a murder. Look, when somebody does that too, I want to make that point. I was thinking about it. Somebody's going to McDonald's and not worried about it. Might have want to get caught, or maybe thought, hey, it's too big not to get caught, or I'll just hide an open side. I don't know what his thought process was, but to go to McDonald's and order a meal and sit down and just chill and wait basically for the cops. I don't know, but media played a role. And look, like I said, I don't say this all the time. Media is not my friend. But this time they did right. And look, this is what the media is supposed to do. Report the facts and let the individuals understand what's going on and ask for the individual's help. It's to let you know all the information, and if you can help, you can help, but you make the determination what you think about the story. They're supposed to tell you the facts, not give you an opinion. If you're a news journalist, you give all the facts and you don't worry about the opinion of it. You let people form opinions. You let someone like me that reads your story and form an opinion. And tell everybody on Rumble and YouTube and wherever else we are listening today. Also, we gotta give credit to the law enforcement. They worked tirelessly to solve this case, paving the importance of a diligent police force. People want to defund the police, but with stories like this, they want to praise them. And rightfully so, you should. Police officers are important. And the law enforcement community, they did a very good job. They investigated. Because look, when this happened, there was nothing. You saw a video and you saw a man that just, but they traced they traced his steps back. They looked at the videos. They found this individual. So props to law enforcement for doing their job and in taking out another violent criminal. They don't get credit like they should. And I think the law enforcement community should be proud today that law enforcement helped solve this, get all the pieces together so they could put it on TV. And an individual at McDonald's could go ahead and say, I think I see him. Now, with that being said, let's pray for the family. Let's pray for the family of the deceased. Look, they can know that that justice is going to be served. They know that the individual has been caught. They know that the individual is behind bars, and that their loved one, unfortunately, had to pass away this way. But let's pray for peace. Let's pray for hope in this chaotic situation. This case should remind us, though, that justice, not vigilantes, must always be a priority. Again, this individual could have probably did some appeal process or something, but he took life in his own hands, and that's not right. You have to go ahead and let justice run the course. And look, sometimes things don't go our way. You don't turn to violence. All right, let's talk about the political fallout. Not the political fallout, but the debate that was between Ana Navarro and Whoopi Goldberg on The View the other day. And they debated whether people can be happy despite political disagreements, especially in the wake of Trump's presidency. And this whole conversation came about when Whoopi was making some points about, hey, you're going to have holidays. Basically, I think it was Whoopi saying, look, you be happy. He's going to do what he's going to do. You need to take care of your family. And Ana Navarro was basically saying, no, you can't be happy. You should be in a panic if you're an illegal alien or you work in the Defense Department. You need to be prepared. You need to be basically saying, hey, don't enjoy the holidays. Don't rest. You need to go ahead and worry about what Trump's going to do. Now, I don't understand why The View has, as we say in Cajun country, their consoles in a bunch. Because you can enjoy the holidays. It's expensive. It's, you worried about the future to come, but you can still enjoy the holidays. We've done it for 4 years. I'm just making a point here. They're having this debate and saying you can't be happy, you gotta worry, you gotta do. Well, look to a conservative. Joe Biden has been the president going close to 4 years now. He only got a month and something left. The administration raised inflation. They went ahead and the price of food is up. The price of wages are down. Man, I don't know how much. But conservatives went ahead and enjoyed their holidays. They had time to spend time with their family. Yes, they prepared in case something happened, me included. But But in reality, we really enjoyed our holidays. We enjoyed Christmas, we enjoyed Thanksgiving, we enjoyed New Year's Eve, we enjoyed Easter. So it's kind of hypocritical, in my opinion, that these hosts like Anna Navarro and Whoopi and others on The View are telling people, hey, well, not Whoopi, because Whoopi's like, hey, you know, you can't be frantic. You can't be all. But Anna Navarro telling people to stay, be in a panic because Donald Trump's going to be president of the United States, like the end of the world's going to happen when he takes office on January 20th. Now, also at this point, too, if you really want the holidays to be peaceful and smooth, don't bring up politics. Look, I have an individual right now that I consider a friend that will not talk to me. Now, if we would see each other probably in person, yeah, but I don't think this individual will reach out to me. All because I voted for Donald Trump. Now look, I've never stopped this. I never stopped our friendship because this individual voted for Biden. That is his choice and his right. But this individual honestly believes that Donald Trump is going to bring the end of the world. And I'm like, really? But look, if you want peace during the holidays, don't bring up politics. You can bring it up when you're talking or having a good time, as long as you're respectful. That's another thing. I wasn't part of a live stream, but I was in the chat of a good friend of mine that's a liberal, and people were telling me, we don't discuss because you believe in taking away the rights of American citizens. We can't have a peaceful conversation? Now, I don't believe in taking away the rights of American citizens, but this individual don't even know me, but is already saying, well, if you think you believe you're going to take away the rights of American citizens, I'm not going to be peaceful. See, pointing back to violence. But to tell people, hey, you stay in a panic. Don't enjoy your holidays. It's, again, going to two parts. You know, hey, conservatives, I don't know about other conservatives, but I enjoyed my holidays. Hey, Biden's in there. It stinks, but guess what? We're going to have to do what we're going to have to do. Also, again, going back, I want to bring out this point, too. The left often talks about how Trump is going to do this and going to do that, and his presidency is going to be bad, and it's basically the world's going to end on January 20th because Donald Trump is taking office. But haven't we been through this before? If you remember, in 2019 into 2020, the correction. I'm trying to remember my dates. 2016 going into 2017. Everybody said Donald Trump was going to ruin the presidency. Donald Trump's going to do things that's going to hurt our economy. Donald Trump is going to bring the end of the world. And we had a good economy for 3 years out of the 4 he was there. The only thing that stopped Donald Trump's economy was a pandemic. And even that, Donald Trump was trying to bring it back. Also, Donald Trump was trying to rebuild, and he realized that the people he was listening to had some information that wasn't right. And look, you can read all about the pandemic. I'm going to give a plug to my good friend, Dr. Mike Schwartz. Dr. Michael wrote 2 books, Fauci's Fiction. I have it right here. Just got it back from a friend's house. And I'm planning on getting Vaccine Fiction. He's probably tired of me saying that, but hey, I need to go get it. I want to read it. But what I'm hearing, it's a real good book, and it has insight into a lot of what happened on the pandemic. If you're interested in that, go read it. But I wish Donald Trump would have called him before he called anybody else. Donald Trump's economy was good until the pandemic. And we still haven't recovered because Biden tried to recover the economy, and Donald Trump is not getting an economy he left with in 4 years ago. But we've been through this. Going back to the point. Oh, he's going to do this. He's going to do that. And even Whoopi had to say he didn't go after Hillary. And look, I don't know if he goes after the people. Some people want him to. I don't know what Donald Trump's going to do. But at the end of the day, we've been through this ride already, and the left is trying to make it zip that Donald Trump is going to end this country. And he's been president already. We know what he's going to do. And I also want to talk about the bias that is on The View. It is obvious, because what if Donald Trump does a good job as president? What if Donald Trump does something good? Will they acknowledge that he did something well? Well, not according to some of The View, is by their action, because Aislinn Forrest, I think her name is, made a comment that if Donald Trump would help the hostages and get Hamas to release the hostages, she would wear a MAGA hat. Sonny Holston and everybody else that was on The View made the point. Oh no, don't do that. Oh, why, if Donald Trump does something good, why not give him praise? Because they don't like him. And that at the end of the day, they don't like him and they don't like his policies. And it don't matter what. Look, Donald Trump can find a cure for cancer, and they will find a reason why Donald Trump shouldn't have found a cure for cancer. I'm making the point because we've seen it. Donald Trump does some real good things in his presidency. Look, I can't think of nothing that was good or that benefited the country. But if I dig deep, probably there's something good I can give credit to Biden for. Again, it's hard to find it on the surface. I can't find it. But Donald Trump did some real good things. And will The View acknowledge him for doing good stuff? No, they won't. But let's go talk about this. Let's go back to the point that they were bringing out, though. Politics. You know, and how. First, look, I'm gonna make this point. I made this point several times on the show already. I'm not trying to try not to beat this thing, but I'm just saying, politics should never divide families. Never. You know, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Every time that I hear of a family divided, it's normally the left that pushes they don't want to be part of the family no more. So you never hear a conservative go ahead and say, listen, your political stance is way too strong for me. I don't want to be around you. And look, it may be happen. I don't know everybody in the world, but I'm just saying. Normally when you hear people say, oh, we don't want to hang out with you, it's usually people on the left that don't want to hang out with people on the right because of our political stance. Now, look, I will say this. There have been times, okay, let me bring out this point. Like there's been a few friends of mine that have turned atheism, turned to atheism, that I don't want to hang around with. Now, that's on a spiritual base. But look, I have friends right now that are liberal, that I talk to and will give suggestions on stuff. Okay? But at the end of the day, this should not divide us. Politics should not divide us. You can have a difference of opinion and you can discuss that respectfully. And these holiday seasons are not about politics. It's about faith and family and friends and being together. Because the holiday season coming about, we are about to celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We shouldn't have to worry about political conflict. We should work towards bridging divides in both political and personal relationships. But again, it takes a two-way street. There's some people that they will not. They don't want to go ahead and end the division. And I hate to say, united we stand, divided we fall. There's some people that want to keep us divided. All right, let's move on to the next story. I saw Tommy Tuberville, the senator of Alabama, criticized Republicans who oppose Trump picks for office, calling it hypocrisy. GOP senators are more willing to vote for Biden nominees without question. These come from two news stories, I believe, both from the Daily Caller. Because Tommy Tuberville made this comment because there are still some in the Republican Party, some senators that are not willing to vote for Donald Trump's picks. And look, Tommy Tuberville said it the same way. The Trump, the people of America gave a mandate to Trump and the Republican Party. We want y'all, and we want things to change. Why do we want things to change? Because food prices are high, gas prices are high, the economy is not good. I don't care what people say. People will go ahead and tell us that the economy is great, but no, it is not great. The economy is in a bad shape. And the nation as a whole, 76% of people, if I'm not mistaken, when it might have been more, but I'm just saying, thought that the country was going in the wrong direction. Trump won an impressive win on election night, won the electoral college vote and the popular vote. He's the first Republican to win the popular vote in several years, ladies and gentlemen. So this was a mandate that things need to change. And Tommy Tuberville is just calling to arms, saying, listen, we were told what we need. They want a change. But still, there is some Republicans that are holding out. And it's Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and one other, well, the last one guy that was holding out on Pete Hegseth, decided to endorse him. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, I understand Tommy Tuberville's frustration because I'm frustrated with the Republican Party. You never see, and I mentioned this a while back when I brought out a story like this, you never, ever see Democrats go against the grain. Never. I don't know if they had some that disagreed with Biden's picks last time, but they didn't make it known. Also, they didn't. They voted for it. They probably held their nose and they voted for it. Now, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not disagree with vetting a person. If this person is extremely bad, yeah, Republicans should worry about it. But come on, Pete Hegseth? They're worried about his drinking, probably when half of Congress drinks. I'm just making some points right here. You telling me that no one in Congress had a one-night stand? There's a whole fund to pay people off for that. To not make our congressman look bad, of course. But ladies and gentlemen, all of a sudden these Republicans have moral high grounds when they didn't have moral high grounds 4 years ago. Many Republicans voted, who are opposing Trump's picks, voted to confirm Biden's worst nominations. And it was they did it without a second thought. Oh, Trump wants that guy. Well, he won. We got to give him what he wants. It's funny how the Republicans always do that, by the way, too. Even Democrats bring that point out. Well, we won. You should give us our people because, you know, the people of America spoke. Well, you know, they won. We have to go ahead and give them what they want. The American people spoke. But now that the American people spoke and saying that we want to change and we want Donald Trump's pick, all of a sudden you have senators, well, we shouldn't just give them hand over fist what they want. All of a sudden, the whole thing changed. Kind of funny, huh? Well, and that I believe is because a lot of these Republicans are rhinos. They're a Republican in name only. The only reason they're Republican is because they cannot win no other way. And this is why I say, look, if these senators mess up what Trump's trying to do, we as a party, the Republican Party, need to go ahead and say, you know what? It's time to primary you. And look, Elon Musk is doing that. Elon Musk, look, we finally got somebody that has the money like George Soros has. George Soros gets people in there because he funds their campaign and he primaries left-leaning people. We never had that on the Republican side. Now that Elon Musk is on our side, Elon Musk has said this. Look, if y'all don't want to do what Donald Trump wants to do, we will primary y'all and we will donate to your opponents. This is something that we need to get done. We need to get the rhinos out of office. These rhinos that are in there that are just, they have to vote the Republican way because they will not win at home. If they show their true colors, guess what? It's going to be It's going to hurt them. And look, I think people are finally starting to see this. People in the Republican Party are finally starting to see the hypocrisy of these Republicans, like Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins. They're starting to see that these Republicans that are, oh well, we're Republicans and we believe, they're not. They're doing a good job. On my closing thoughts on this, the Republican Party needs to get their act together. I talked about unity the other day. We need to unify. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to happen if we keep having Republicans do what they're doing here. I'm sorry. And look, this aggravates me. Again, I voted for change. And several million of Americans voted for change. Change needs to get done. It don't need to be well, we tried and the Senate. No, you have the House and you have the Senate. You need to do as much as you can in the next 2 years, and we need every Republican on board. We don't need deep state Republicans or rhinos to mess that up. All right, let's move on. Joe Manchin pushed for Supreme Court term limits. Senator Joe Manchin, who was a Democrat, now an independent, advocates for term limits for the Supreme Court justice. This is likely a motivation by fears over a conservative leading court. Manchin put this bill together and saying, look, we need term limits now for the Supreme Court because, these people that are lifelong decisions and all that. No, and also there is a provision for all the current Supreme Court judges. It's the ones after they leave. They need to be term limit. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's a 12 to 16-year term limit for the Supreme Court, which is still a long time, but you had some Supreme Court justices, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Steve Scalise and many others, they died on the court. They didn't retire. Now, some retired, but it was 30, 40 years they were on the court. It all depends on the person, and Donald Trump, the last time he was in, picked some very young people, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. They went ahead. They're some of the youngest members of the Supreme Court ever. And now the question I want to ask, is this for a better governance? Or is this about limiting Trump's influence on the court? See, if you go ahead and do it now, and Donald Trump would select somebody, that's not a lifelong commitment. Within 12 years, a president could go ahead and do it again. Which means possibly it could be a Democrat president that could be picking the next Supreme Court justice. And if it's liberal or not, hey, at least in 12 years they could put another spot on the Supreme Court. Now, I say this is influencing, limiting the influence of Trump, but this is limiting the influence of Republicans. What if there's several other judges that retire within 1 year? Okay. Let's use Amy Coney Barrett, Brett Kavanaugh, and Neil Gorsuch. They all get together and they say, we've been doing this for God knows how long, 20, 30 years, whatever. Let's all retire at the same time. Imagine a president picking three at one time. Now, that would be bad in any situation, like if a Democrat's involved, but it has never happened that I'm aware of, but I'm just saying. These people would be term limit, and if Democrats continue to do their term or whatever, it's to stop the conservative movement in the court. Because again, these are lifelong decisions. And look, the older justice right now, they all left leaning. If the two or three of the next judges say, hey, the left leaning judges say, we want to resign, we feel that we're done, the court's going to be conservative for a very, very long time. And this is why they want term limits. But this also shows the hypocrisy of the left, and I consider Manchin part of the left, If you want, okay, I'll agree to term limits on the Supreme Court if they agree to term limits in Congress. While we're talking about the Supreme Court, let's talk about Congress. Congress is a lifelong position if you keep on winning. And look, I like how congressmen do this. And I've personally experienced this when I asked a potential congressman who is now a congressman this question. Hey, do you agree with term limits? Oh, we have term limits already. I'm looking. No, we don't. Oh, yeah, we do. We have a 2-year term limit. That's not the term limit I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you running an election every 2 years. Hey, Congress, 4 terms. Senate, 2 terms. President, 2 terms. And you can't serve again. You know how that would change the political spectrum? It would change our political system. I promise you, you wouldn't have too much fraud no more. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Why? Because a lot of these people are career politicians, meaning that they rather get a paycheck or worry about more getting power and wealth over public service. And to stop that, term limits need to be put into effect. If you are a congressman or a congresswoman, 4 terms. That's 8 years. If you're a senator, 2 terms, that's 6 years if you get reelected. You wouldn't have these Dianne Feinsteins or Nancy Pelosi's or these other individuals that have made their life all about them and making them wealthy and powerful. You know, a lot of people say if you want to see what's about to do good in the stock market, follow your most corrupted politician and see what they're investing in or what they're pulling out. You probably would. You probably will would be very beneficial on it. These people are corrupt, and these people want to hold their power. And term limits are a way to get a way to stop a lot of this corruption and a lot of these politicians that are lining their pockets. And also, you get people that really care about the nation, because if these people know they only term limit, they only have a little bit of time, they can go ahead and say, you know, it's not going to profit us to run. See, the reason that people run right now is profitable to them. They can make money off of it. Now, look, this would not fix the corruption issue in America, but it would limit it. It would slow it down. And, you know, a lot of people might ask, well, why didn't the founding fathers put term limits? I don't think the founding fathers ever imagined about career politicians. But the reality is that that's what we're dealing with right now. And I think that's why they didn't put term limits. But term limits need to be done right now. And it's to restore accountability into the government. All right, let's talk about the New Jersey book banning. New Jersey signs a law against book bans, but concerns are arising over books with sexual context being placed in children's sections of the libraries. So first off, I want to make this point. I am against book bannings. I am. Because of the simple fact that we have free speech. And free speech is essential. And I believe anyone could write a book about anything, okay? I don't have to read the book if I disagree with it. At the end of the day, I'm trying to word this right. Again, I'm not against book banning. You can write whatever you want. At the end of the day, though, I want to make it known that books in libraries, if they're holding any sexuality or sexual ideology, should be put in an adult section, not in a children's section. Because this is the difference with free speech and protection. I don't want to take away your free speech. If you are an author out there and you have a twisted mind and you want to write about something, you have all the power in the world to do so. But don't put it where my kids can easily take it out of the library. Okay? You don't go ahead and tell me that books that are talking about same-sex relations is child appropriate and showing pictures. Now, if you don't believe me, my friend Michael Lunsford for New Citizens of Louisiana has been battling this for years here in the state of Louisiana. Of libraries putting in sexual context books into children's sections. Why? Because they're labeled as a children's book. And they're showing pictures of inappropriate things. We need to put these books in areas where adults can monitor them, where parents can control what their children are reading. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if we're in the kids section, 9 out of 10, I'm not gonna worry about what my son grabs or my girl grabs, my little girl grabs, because hey, it's supposed to be in the children's section. Now I have to vet what they read in the children's section. This is not about book banning. This is about protecting. And I think this is what the governor of New Jersey don't understand. I don't know if this man's a grandfather or a father or whatever, but he needs to think about this. A conservative, to my knowledge, no conservatives have called for book bans. We have called for putting appropriate content in children. Like if it's a children's book, it should be in the children's section. I'm not against that, but a book that is showing you how to perform sexual acts with another human being and showing pictures and labeling that as a child's book should not be put in children's section. That's the difference with this. And what's sad is a lot of these people that are writing these books that are trying to push sexual indoctrination and sexual ideology into children, they're not worried about teaching your kids. They're trying to indoctrinate your children. That's the whole sole purpose. That's why they made it into a children's book, to influence young minds. And these people do not want to give kids knowledge. They want to indoctrinate them to where they can be confused about sexuality. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. The devil does not play fair. And I believe a lot of these people that are writing these books, targeting kids, and trying to make kids confused about their gender and their sexuality, that right there is the devil using them. They're the devil's puppet. Remember, the devil comes and brings confusion, not unity. And this book ban shouldn't have never happened. All right, moving on to the last story of the day. The New York Attorney General Letitia James is continuing her civil fraud case against Donald Trump, alleging he infused assets values. Critics argue it's politically motivated. So Donald Trump is asking Letitia James to drop this case for the good of the country. He's about to be the president of the United States, and the president of the United States should not be worried about court cases. He should be worried about the things that are going on in the world. But Letitia James is still wants to hold on to this case. And why? Well, because it's a political vendetta. The case is not about justice, okay? This case that is going on in New York right now, several business owners. Now, this is the case that Donald Trump had to pay $454 million. He's appealing it right now. But this case right here, several New York businessmen and women did what Donald Trump did, and they would never charge. If Donald Trump gets charged, that's a precedent, okay? And that's the ceiling. And guess what? They're gonna bust that ceiling. And people in New York, business people already said they're going to leave New York. This is why Letitia James and I think it was the mayor, the governor of New York came out and said, "Look, we're not going after y'all. We're going after Trump." And that right there explained everything. We're gonna let y'all do what y'all doing and what Donald Trump has done, but we're not gonna charge y'all. We're just gonna charge Donald Trump. That's the whole key to these cases, by the way. This is to get revenge on Donald Trump for what he did when he was president in the beginning. They want Donald Trump to be looked at as a bad individual. And Letitia James, again, is a puppet of the left, and she's pushing this because she wants Donald Trump to look bad and to ruin his reputation and his businesses. The left has a grudge against him. Plain and simple. They want Donald Trump to fail. They don't want Donald Trump to succeed as president. Because if he succeeds and Biden didn't succeed, that's an issue. But Tina James, this is all political. The reason they were pushing this was to stop him from being president. Now that he's president, they want to ruin his reputation and label him as a criminal. Again, all this stuff they're charging with, other business owners have done. There was no victims in this case, by the way. I'm just letting you know. This is the state of New York saying they're a victim. Donald Trump paid his bills. People made money off of this. But instead of, hey, Donald Trump's a great businessman and he helped New York. No, it's, hey, let's put him in jail. And look, this is an impact on the country. This is an impact on what's happening in our country today. Again, a president should not be worried about going to court. A president should be worried about the world affairs in our country. And look, we're seeing this in Israel right now. Benjamin Netanyahu is in a similar situation like Donald Trump is in. And look, fighting a war, he told the government of Israel, listen, let's push this back until after the war is done because I have a war to war. No, their justice system said, nope, you have to be in court. You know, Hamas and Hezbollah could be bombing places and, hey, we need the prime minister in the situation room. Don't you understand? We're in a trial. Could you imagine Donald Trump being in a courtroom and something like 9/11 happens again? Mr. President, something urgent. You need to be in the situation room. Oh, yeah, I'm coming. The judge, nope. If you leave, we're putting you in jail because justice has to be served. I understand this is a civil case. Don't get me wrong. I'm not ignorant to that fact, but this is a concern for the nation, and this is damaging our nation because it is dividing people. And at the end of the day, this needs to stop. But Tina James and everyone else that is doing this need to say, you know what? We lost. We're going to drop these cases. We thought this was a good way to win, and they need to change their strategy. They need to focus on winning over their voters. Because look, more Democrats voted Republican than ever before. This political climax is toxic, and it needs to end. These political witch hunts need to stop, and America needs to move forward and heal from these battles. Look, this was a brutal presidential race. Brutal. But it's time for us as Americans to say, you know what? Enough is enough. And I think we said enough is enough. We voted on November 5th. And we told the Democrat Party, you attacking your political opponents, it needs to stop. But they don't want to stop. You know why they don't want to stop? Because they love power and they love controlling people. And whatever way they can, if they could use the Justice Department against their political opponents, which they have, they will use. If they will go ahead and trump up charges, no pun intended, on individuals, they will. If they smear people's name, they will. Donald Trump is not the most perfect person, but at the same time, they're not perfect either. And them all of a sudden having this high moral high ground is not going to work. With that being said, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Isaac Hayes Show. I did not address the chat too much today, and I hope you don't mind. But I 9 out of 10, I commented on the chat. So I'm just saying I probably engage with you like that. We will be back here on Friday. We are enduring some cold weather here in Louisiana after 2 days of very, very hard rain. So keep us in prayer here here in Louisiana. We're not used to this cold weather. I'm wearing a coat and I have a heater on and I'm still cold. But anyway, Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you. Please be with us next time here on the Isaac Hayes Show. Remember that Jesus Christ is King. He's coming back, and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. If you want to know Jesus, your Lord and Savior, you can always reach out to us at the Cajun Conservative 5 at gmail.com. We will tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and heaven your home. Stay tuned for handy news. We're gonna be rating them in a few minutes. Please be blessed. Please be encouraged. Again, you have a good one. We will see you on Friday. You be blessed. Bye-bye.